One day something will happen with your parents, and in that moment, a conversation will be forced on your family that should have started years earlier. Not because you didn't care, but because no one knew how to begin. And by the time it starts, it won't feel calm. It won't feel thoughtful. It will feel rushed, emotional, and heavy. What most people don't realize is this: it's not the situation that makes it hard. It's the timing. Because when conversations happen in a crisis, you don't get clarity. You get pressure. And today I want to help you change that. There's a quiet moment that happens for most people. You start to notice small things. Your parent repeats a story. They get tired more easily. They brush something off that doesn't feel small. And you think, should I say something? But then you don't, because it feels too early, or too awkward, or unnecessary. So you wait, and the waiting feels harmless until it isn't. Here's the shift most people miss. Aging is not something that suddenly starts one day. It's already happening right now. And the longer you treat it like a future event, the more likely you are to be unprepared when it becomes a present reality. This is where most families get stuck, not in lack of love, in hesitation. If you've ever had that moment where you thought, we should probably talk about this, just notice that for a second. You're exactly who this conversation is for. Let's talk about why waiting actually makes this harder. Because most people assume the opposite. They think if something serious happens, we'll deal with it then. But here's what actually happens. When a crisis hits, everything changes at once. Emotions are high. Information is unclear. Decisions feel urgent. And instead of asking, what would you want? You're asking, what do we do right now? That's a completely different conversation. One is thoughtful, the other is reactive. And I've seen this over and over again. Families sitting in hospital rooms trying to figure out things that could have been talked about years earlier. Not because they didn't care, but because they waited for a moment that felt more appropriate. But there is no perfect moment. There is only earlier or later. Here's the part most people don't expect. Starting these conversations early is actually easier, not harder. Because when nothing is wrong, everything is calmer. You're not solving a problem, you're exploring possibilities. You're not reacting, you're participating, and that changes the entire tone. So the question becomes, why don't we start earlier? There are usually 3 reasons. First, you don't want to upset them. You don't want your parent to feel like you're questioning their independence, so you stay quiet. Second, you're not sure what to say. You don't want to open something that you can't navigate, so you avoid it. And third, life is full. You have your own responsibilities, your own schedule, your own pressures. So it feels easier to assume things are fine. But here's the truth. Avoiding the conversation doesn't protect the relationship. It delays it. And often, it makes the eventual conversation heavier than it needed to be.